Hello everyone and welcome to the next installment of Deception and Countermeasures in the Xiangqi opening, which is based on a free ebook that's available on the World Xiangqi Federation website. The link has been given in the commentary below, and please feel free to download it. So without further ado, this will be a continuation of the same direction cannons. This is called the same direction cannons. Proper horses, the foul chariot. And instead of developing the chariot as a rank chariot, another way of playing this position would be to push p7 plus 1 or h2 plus 3, whereby the chariot is developed at a later time. So this is called the deferred chariot variation, whereby the chariot is developed later, and black would choose to consolidate his defense. This is one of the major breakthroughs in this opening system. So p7 plus 1 is played, whereby red would push this pawn to inhibit the development of this black horse while develop his own horse at the same time. He could also go for the 5-7 cannons to attack the black horse. This is one way of countering. Black would play c2 equals to 1 to develop his right chariot as fast as possible. Another way would be p7 plus 1. And as can be seen, although red would attack the horse, the elephant would be forced to defend in this manner. And after forcing the elephant to the riverbank, black's right flank would be a little bit congested, and this horse would be able to be developed. It would be prepared to play h7 plus 6, etc. to attack the black horse. So red will have the initiative, and that is why p7 plus 1 is not played. So c2 equals to 1 is usually played, and seeing that black had already was prepared to develop the chariot, usually c8 h8 plus 7 was played. It would not be a good idea to play c8 equals to 7 at this point, because black will still develop his chariot, and red would go for the edge horse. And because the edge cannon was already in place, it could now capture the pawn to threaten the red chariot, and thus gain a move in the making. So if red chose to capture the black chariot, black would gain an elephant with this check before trading chariots. And because the horse cannot capture the black cannon, or the chariot will be lost, so black would be able to launch a counter offensive this very early in the game. And usually when the edge cannon is able to make an impact, the tides would turn in favor of the player having the edge cannon. So one might wonder if h8 plus 9 would it have been a good idea to advance and attack the horse as planned? The answer would be a resounding no, because all black would have to do is to play r2 plus 8, and the entire left red flank would be in trouble, be congested, and black can play c1 equals to 2 to gain material. And if the red pawn continued to advance, red would simply move his horse to the central position and still prevent the elephant from being captured. So in this case, as can be seen, black would have turned the tables. So back to the main line, it was seeing that c8 equals 7 was not advisable. Red will usually develop his left horse as a proper horse. Now advancing the chariot to the riverbank would to patrol the riverbank and discourage the red horse from attacking. Now this will be a stepfast approach. Another commonly played move would be r2 plus 6, whereby black would become more aggressive and threaten red's pawn rank immediately. Now this chariot has to be moved, if not, black would play c8 plus 4 to form a blockade. So if r2 plus 6 would play, usually a trade-off would be offered, which black would usually deny. And as can be seen, although the chariot was now in a very offending position, red would be prepared to play on c9 minus 1 and c9 equals to 7 to threaten the black chariot and also apply pressure on this flank. But black could be compensated in other areas like the mobility of this chariot, where we can make a difference in the game. So this position can lead to many very complicated situations which I've played before, and you have to be very familiar with the opening variations. So r2 plus 4 will lead to a less volatile situation on the board. So far so good. Again, because the black chariot had moved, red will usually offer a trade-off chariots, because black had already used up one move to move the horse to the riverbank. So if black chose to trade chariots, as in this case, black would have usually lost a move in the process. And because the pawn was already advanced, the horse could still easily be developed. So black will usually continue with the rank chariot, and red will continue to play with p3 plus 1 at this point in time for the double-headed snake pawns. When the third and seventh pawns are advanced for the same color, they are called the double-headed snake pawns, or 双头蛇 or 两头蛇 in Chinese. So the tempo of the game will usually slow down significantly by this time, but the upside would be that the color having the double-headed snake pawns would be prepared to develop their horses, which would pave the way for attack in the mid game. Now this is one usually advised, but unfortunately in this situation it would not be a good idea. Instead, red could have been fed better by playing h8 plus 7. Now this was suggested by Master Wenqing and Grandmaster Zhang in their book. Now, as can be seen, one of the reasons why the double-headed snake pawns is not advised is because once the pawn was pushed, this chariot would not have many good intersections for development. Now, if it were to be developed on the riverbank, the pawn would get in the way. So, usually, the development of this chariot would become an issue, and perhaps the only way to develop it would be to play r2 plus 6. If r2 plus 1 were played at this point, because the rank chariot would get to choose which file to control, usually the red chariot will be positioned at a lousier intersection or lousier file. So nevertheless, this was discussed in the board, and black continued to attack with r9 equals to 2, forcing the horse to move before patrolling the riverbank. Now this is one important move to make, whereby black would one commonly used strategy, whereby black would use his riverbank chariot to trade pawns to develop his horses. Now this would be the position of discussion, and at this point black would try something naughty with r2 plus 8. Now this move is usually frowned upon because it will go against the tenets of opening theory. Why is it so? Because only one chariot has advanced deep into black's territory without any backup at the moment. So in turn, if black were to play correctly, this chariot would be under attack instead, and red would usually have to spend a few moves just to move it back to safety. So such an attack is usually frowned upon. However, this move would contain an element of deception. So this would be the position that was discussed. In the book, there were two variations. The first would be p3 plus 1, whereby black would try to develop trade pawns as planned initially, so that if the red chariot tried to attack the horses, for example, if r2 equals to 3 were played, black could simply advance his horse for attack while the cannon would protect the horse. However, and then the first variation was p3 plus 1, and the second and recommended variation would be a4 plus 5, whereby black would try to halve the board into two different halves and thus isolate the red chariot. Now, in the book, another short variation was discussed, whereby p7 plus 1 was shown. Now, this is also discouraged because if when the black chariot were to play to this move, red would usually retreat his central cannon to use this cannon to protect the horse, and red would now be prepared to play c5 equals to 3. Now, this is very dangerous for black because the red chariot would have also blocked the elephant from moving to the edge file. So if the cannon were to move to the third file, it will apply a lot of pressure, and black would have to move his pieces away immediately. If, let's say, for example, if black tried to trade pawns again, the red cannon would attack the chariot immediately, forcing the cannon away, and red would gain material with this attack. So, any other black would have be forced to move either his horse or chariot away at this point in time. See. So that is why red will still have the initiative, and he will be very satisfied with this move. And this is actually one of the functions of this r2 plus 8 deceptive move. So returning back to the first variation, black would try to play p3 plus 1 to trade pawns. However, red would move his chariot to the other flank before black can play a4 plus 5 or move a6 plus 5. And black would try to isolate the chariot. Now, this is one commonly used tactic in the opening theory, whereby the horses are linked and black would be prepared to place, for example, c5 equals to 6, followed by c6 minus to 1 to capture the red chariot. However, red would have other plans inside, so red would not bother about the safety of this chariot for the time being, and instead choose to be very aggressive with h7 plus 6. Now this is a move that will be in continuation with r2 equals to 7. So what would happen? Red would actually capture the central pawn, forcing a trade of horses, but usually black would not want to trade horses, because if this cannon would be a very powerful entity at this point in time, whereby it would one cannon would pin one black cannon and one horse to the same file, so effectively reducing the number of pieces that black can utilize to play in the game. And the next thing would be that the red horse would not be prepared to attack, and this chariot would still be threatening the pawn. So if the pawn were caught, black would have wasted 2 moves to move a piece that was simply captured. So that is why choosing to trade horses is usually frowned upon by black, and black would usually choose to play h3 plus 4. So red would now continue to capture the offending pawn, patrol the riverbank, and black would try to decongest his palace with h5 plus 7. Now, it would not be a good idea for black to play h4 plus 5, because after trading horses, the issue of this central horse would still be a very big headache for black. So by moving the elephant, black would hope to try to offer a trade of horses to free his horse and to negate the threat of red's central horse. But red can counter in this manner, threatening to capture the cannon. Now the black cannon cannot capture the cannot trade for the horse, because at this point in time red will still have a central cannon and a chariot in the same file. If black moved the horse away, for example, red would deliver a check and black could capture material, or just simply play capture the horse to gain material. So that is why black would usually not want to trade material. Okay, and would often choose to play r2 plus 2 to protect the cannon. But by doing so, the red horse will now be free to do damage. But before doing damage, red would have to move his king to safety with k5 equals to 4, whereby red would threaten to play r5 equals to 4 to go for the checkmate. Now this would force the black horse away, and at this point red would not want to choose to trade horses, but instead play this very beautiful move of h5 minus 7. Now this move is very, very powerful because first of all, the elephant cannot capture the horse or it will be a check. Second thing, the red horse would now be threatening to capture the black chariot. If the black chariot moved, for example, if the black chariot tried to capture the red horse, red could deliver a check and gain material. So that is why this was a very powerful move, and once this position was reached, red would gain a huge advantage. And that is why the first variation ended here. So let us go to the second variation, which is the recommended variation. A short recap. This was the position that was discussed, and black would choose to play a4 plus 5 to prevent the red chariot from harassing the black horse in this manner. So if a4 plus 5 were played, red would be forced to use up one move to try to move his chariot to make it functional. So r2 is equals to 3 was played, and black would choose to sacrifice material. Now a4 plus 5 was played initially with the plan of sacrificing the horse at this point in time. This will allow black to fight for the initiative and allow to form and orchestrate an attack. So if p3 plus 1 were played, would red dare to capture the black horse? The answer would be no, because if he did, red would capture the central, sacrifice his horse and capture the red chariot, and black would have black would have the advantage because of the chariot still present. If this were played, the cannon would simply move, say, c5 equals to c7 equals to 6 to safety. So black would have an advantage at this point in time. I ran this position in my computer, and it showed that black would have an advantage of about 550 points at level 20 difficulty. So the presence of the chariot would be a major advantage to black. So that is why r3 minus 1 cannot be played, because this horse was indirectly protected by this cannon. And usually h7 plus 6 were played. Now, if h7 plus 6 were played, how should black counter? Black will usually play with counter aggressively with h3 plus 4. And the cannon would now protect the horse, while the chariot would be in a closed position. This move would also have the advantage of denying red the option of playing h6 plus 7, as it would be blocked now. Now, it would not be a good idea at this point in time to capture the pawn, because if this horse were able to move to this position, red would have quite an advantage. Again, I ran this position in my computer and found that red would enjoy an advantage of about 200 points. So the difference in the difference in the level of points is quite significant. Although at this point, red's 200 point advantage can be considered to be a slight advantage. So if h3 plus 4 played, black would try to be aggressive and play h6 plus 4 to attack. Now, capturing the pawn would also be a mistake on red's part, because if he did, red would now concentrate his forces to target the elephant. Forcing this elephant cannot be captured because there will be simply too much firepower available to threaten red's right flank. And also at the same time, because this move was played, this chariot will now be in trouble, because black will continue with e3 plus 5 to threaten to capture the chariot, forcing the chariot to the corner. Black cannot play r3 equals to 1, or this chariot will be simply captured by the black cannons. So this is an example of why advancing only one single piece deep into enemy territory is never advised, because it will be a clear target for attack, and red will be in all sorts of trouble. So as can be seen, the red chariot was forced to the corner. It cannot move here because the horse will capture it, and the red chariot will now be a closed chariot, whereas the black chariot was an open chariot. Now this difference will have a major impact on the game. And after playing, black will continue with h4 plus 6 and threaten to go for the elbow horse checkmate or whatever. There will be many options for black to continue, and black would have a significant upper hand. I ran this position in my computer and found that at about level 20 or 20 plus, black would actually enjoy a significant advantage of about 400 and 400 plus points. So black would have a significant upper hand once this position were reached. So that is why red cannot capture or should not capture this pawn. Instead, if red should try to be aggressive, as with the nature of the same direction cannons, and play h6 plus 4. And black would gain a cross river pawn, and black would simply sacrifice his horse and choose to attack red's left flank. Red will try to counter, check, and this will be another nice move, because black can be prepared to move the chariot away and threaten the checkmate with a double cannons checkmate. And usually to allow the elephant to move, red will capture the central pawn, forcing the king out. And black would move his cannon slightly to retreat his cannon to target the red horse. p3 equals to 2 is not advised, because red would have a hard time trying to get more material to be developed. But nevertheless, black would have seized the initiative from red and would now enjoy an advantage of about nearly 350 points from about 300 to 350 points from level 20 onwards. So I hope you've enjoyed this short commentary, a short review. Okay, central same direction cannons, deferred foul chariot versus deferred chariot. edge cannon to develop the chariot, horse, after trading chariots, and this will be the deceptive or the move that was discussed, and this situation will be the main idea. There were two variations, p3 plus 1 and a4 plus 5. Now, as can be seen just now, a4 plus 5 will be the advocated variation for black to pursue. So if played correctly, black would be able to turn the tables and seize the initiative away from red. So the key point, one of the key ideas behind this would be to prevent the red chariot from crossing to the other flank to cause mischief, as was given just now. So I hope you've enjoyed the short video where I'm trying to make things as clear as possible for the beginner and to explain some of the opening theory or tenets in Xiangqi. So if you like my work, please support my channel, and I'll keep doing videos to try to promote this very, very wonderful game. Thank you. Have a